the law of
Jesus
opportunity,
also spoke of the
PT2.
law of opportunity. He illustrated this spiritual law through the following story. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and put them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall because it had its foundations on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down and the streams rose and the wind blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. Matthew 7 verses 24 to 27. The rain, the floods, and the winds affect everyone, but some have sound foundations and structures and others do not. Some roll their sleeves up and drill in stone, while others prefer the ease of building on sand. This is a product of the law of sowing, which says that we reap what we sow, as we are going to see later. Some lay solid foundations and they remain structured. Yet the law of opportunity was also in effect, since all had the chance to build and the rain fell on all of them. These teachings of Solomon and Jesus warned us that bad weather, crises, calamities, opportunities, and changes in scenario affect everyone. Some will have the emotional, intellect, financial, and relational foundations to weather the storms. Others will not. The sun rises and the rain falls on everyone. Some are prepared for it and others are not. What about you? Are you ready to deal with the surprises life throws at you? In our home country of Brazil, there is a saying, the sun rises for everyone. The shade doesn't. This interesting concept implies that only those who have learned to deal with the sun are able to enjoy the shade. Only those who have built 4 walls and a roof over their heads are deserving of the shade. Even if you are hiding under a tree, you have to earn your shade by first moving under it. At the beginning of the 20th century, Andrew Carnegie hired Napoleon Hill to study the common ground of successful people. Hill spent over 20 years researching the lives of the most successful men of his time. He studied over 16,000 rich and powerful people in order to discover what they had in common. Among those he studied were the 500 most important millionaires at that time, including Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford, Elmer Gates, Theodore Roosevelt, George Eastman, Woodrow Wilson, and John D.F. Rockefeller. The results of Hill's research were summarized in 1937 in a book titled Think and Grow Rich. The book was submitted to the analysis of bankers, business persons, and university professors in order to correct or eliminate information lacking practical, scientific, and economical basis. Not a single modification was proposed. Considered a treatise on the development of leadership, these books summarize the law that successful people follow consciously and subconsciously. In the first chapter, Hill tells the story of Dr. Gonzalez.